Office on Hazard Highway come in and give us an update on that. And,
we have 63% of the town done. If one wants to do it. And the rate we're going will probably take us to April. Now I have some pictures just so you know what the guys are up against. The top picture is one road that has one house on it. You pile 75 feet long. Then you clean your woods out. Now we're going to chip into the woods, so you might have an issue there. And some of the other ones, you can see how they're stacked. They're not stacked right, they're thrown sideways. It's taking time.
now that's the percentage you're giving us. Is that since October when the storm ended? Yes. As you're well aware.
We didn't start until really like November 7th. Chipping wise. I mean, we were opening roads and doing that, but we didn't really start until like November 7th.
Well, my point is that since January, we've been putting a lot more effort into this, so it's going along a lot faster.
Yes.
So we've been actually utilizing outside crews. So don't you think under those circumstances we should be able to finish before spring?
I'm hoping, but I'm not going to. There's a lot out there. So.
I just wanted to show the town board a picture. I went to go meet with Jamie one day when the crew was working. Look at how massive.
Oh,
it was 200, this is one house, 200 feet long. The branches were over 15 feet wide and about 10 feet high. One house. It took, I was standing there with the guys, it took them almost a whole day. Look at how, it just, it was massive, so.
And if it's not stacked right, you know, they throw logs on top, and now they got the leaves on top of it. And
there's no question that this has been a monumental task. And we'll have to, once we get through this.
I mean, I'm trying to keep 3 crews out when I can, and so forth. And, okay, I took the crew off for 2 days to finish up that little patent job that we had. And I just got to put the guy really done. But 3 crews are out.
Jamie, how much did we have between the hurricane and the snowstorm? How much do we get rid of a lot of brush during that period?
We cleaned up Irene. Irene was all cleaned up, except for logs. The logs were still there, but as far as brush, everything was cleaned up.
Okay, so we're dealing with the snowstorm damage now, not the hurricane damage.
Can I ask a question about logs, just because we get calls about that? So sometimes, or is it always, that you're going to pick up the brush and leave logs, because that's not part of what the town collects?
Correct. Now, if the logs are from our trees, we will go back and get those.
That was another question, because we've also been told that. How do you determine?
We know it's ours.
We know
it's ours.
You know when you take it down. So.
Yeah. Right, because you're taking it down.
I mean, I was just somewhere in Windmill. They had a load of logs. They must have cut a tree, just stacked all the logs by the road.
Is anyone, I mean, we communicated that once, but is anyone telling us that?
I don't think so.
Are we bringing that sheet?
Well, it's on the website.
It's on the website.
Logs.
Something that code enforcement.
I just want to stress how great it was when I sat with Jamie in the highway department. I was sending out the recycle schedule that we just crunched and did the brush pickup schedule again and put it in with the recycle schedule so people know what they're allowed to do and what they're not. And it's not that people intentionally wanted to do it, they just weren't aware of the regulations. Because this one house that I have pictures of, I looked in their yard from the driveway and they pruned their whole yard. Well, that's not what the intent of what was supposed to be. You're allowed to put a certain amount out per month. If you want to prune, you can only do so much per month. It's for the occasional gardener to go in and do something, but if you're having your whole place where it's going to be 200 feet long, 10 feet high, your landscaper has to chip it and take it away.
Should we put up make up a flyer stating that we're not taking this because?
Well, we did.
Put it in the mailboxes on
Well, we mailed it.
When I first started,
Yeah, but that doesn't address the logs that are now in the piles.
Code enforcement would be going out there and saying that this is your responsibility.
the logs that are in the pile, they'll be left.
Right.
We'll chip what we can. We take nothing larger than 4 inches,
Right.
the rest will leave.
I mean, the brush schedule's great, it is coming over, but there's the big disclaimer in that little box,
Well,
that it doesn't.
originally we didn't want to put the box, but in order to give Jamie the time to adhere to catching up, once this catch-up happens, that's it, we're getting back down to the rules. So,
But I also just think that people need to understand that logs are not being picked up.
Yeah,
It's always been that way.
Yeah.
I
It's
know,
always-
I
it's
know,
always-
but
And
this
it's
is,
all-
like, people
yeah.
don't even
Yeah,
know
I
that.
know.
sure, so Ann, any suggestions we have during the year to improve upon this rules and regulations that we give to the people, we'll highlight it, just like we do with the recycling. So we could put in a larger print, logs specifically are not allowed, you know, so that's a very good suggestion, and we'll put it down whether we mail this out once a year or twice a year. I think we could certainly correct it now on the website.
Yeah.
So if any of us come up with any suggestions to what
it's
we've
on the
done, we'll do
website.
that.
It's on the
It
website,
probably is.
but besides that, maybe like when the tax bills go out and receipts
Yeah.
go out, there's an opportunity to put something in.
You can't
We-
put anything with the tax.
You know what, we
We've tried to see
Issue.
I don't even know.
Feel strong.
Pass your taxes,
You didn't
not
have-
pick up your stuff.
We've had an issue, we had 1 or 2, and, you know, you tell them they don't accept the logs, and you're like, oh, okay. But since the storm, the people are putting out.
But that's it, I don't remember before this
No,
storm.
never had
It was a
Yeah,
very
people
rare,
pretty much
it was a
understood
big
that.
storm.
Well, for the hurricane,
Right.
they,
Yeah.
oh, so hurricane, actually, no, the year before that, those winter storms in 2010, where in February, March, there was, and we did, we picked up a lot of what was out there. And perhaps maybe, Howard, just another reminder at the town board meeting of, you know, that way,
At least
if you at least see your stuff is left there, know that we're picking up greater than we should be, but we're not picking up greater than 4 inches. And just quick, to what you were talking about before, Howard, I just did some quick math on Jamie's estimate, based on the 63% and how many roads we have and how many he's doing per week. It should take about 8 or 9 weeks to finish based on the pace that they're at. And with the outside help, maybe quicker, but it sounds like you'd be complete at some point in probably early April, is my guess.
That's what I.
So, and with outside contractors,
And that's
perhaps
if-
sooner, but that's
I
the
don't know,
pace,
are you
based
still
on the first
using-
3 months.
The outside contractors?
Or not at the moment, but we have, obviously, in the past.
I think it's also nice for us to think of a town board, what are we able to do when there is a storm? Like, what are our limits per household of what we can help the people with, without them having to have a private contractor and take it away? Because, you know, this could happen once a year.
We should
So
stick
how
with
do
our
you feel
limits.
about that? What are your suggestions
We
for
should
storm
stay
or
with
regular?
our limits
Mhm.
that we have now.
So even if there is a storm, then they could put it out, but they put out some one month, some the next month on the curb. They can leave it in the yard and bring it forward.
They have to make sure it's left back far enough.
I mean, the way it's set up, the way I understand it is, that service for residents is for your normal cleanup.
Right.
Anytime I've ever had an issue, I fully expect that I have to pay for the tree to come down and pay for the materials to be taken away.
That's what's not happening yet.
On this storm, but they're putting everything out.
Everything else.
They're doing landscaping, they're putting everything
They're
out.
cleaning the entire
Because
woods.
they're cutting it up
Right.
and then saying, don't bring your chipper, the town will do it.
Yeah. And that's why I agree with Jamie, once we get past this cleanup, and we put it in the brochure,
Right.
then we have to be,
Ian, is that coming?
It's
soon?
coming, Mark.
I mean, normally, under normal conditions, we can go through a zone a week or less, under normal conditions. But now, see what's, I mean, you're spending 6 days on one road, it's
Right.
2 crews, and it's,
So under normal under normal conditions, if somebody puts out a lot of stuff out and it doesn't get picked up, they're not adhering to the schedule, is there a fine associated with that?
if,
I don't think that they can issue fines.
I mean, if they put out too much or too
No, I'm just
little.
saying, like there's just, because you have houses that have stuff in
if
front of
it's
them
too much,
forever.
they'll receive a
They'll
notice.
receive a notice, okay.
Right.
Or you notice, and then they'll have to either hire someone to
Take it.
pull it back, or they'll, I mean, first time, I
Everyone gets
just
a
moved
notice.
in town, I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
okay, we'll take care of it,
All right.
but after that, everyone will receive a notice.
Is there a timing issue, say this week, a week for a particular area, and they put it out next week, so it's been sitting there for 3-4 weeks?
It could sit there for a month, there's no time of when you can put it out.
Okay.
And we do have a individual in town that is As soon as the pile's picked up, another pile is out. And it
Right.
sits in front of the house for a month.
So this is our world. This is the world of the brush pickup, what we're gonna adhere to, what we're gonna teach the residents to do, just like we do with the recycling. We taught them this world and they got it really good. Now we're gonna teach them this new world. And
That
we're all
used to
team
be
together.
in with the garbage calendars years ago.
That's right, that's right. So when I did this with Jamie and the recycling committee, most of these regulations were there already. I just rewrote them and put it with the schedule. So it was all there. This is nothing new we did. The only thing we did is we changed it instead of 5 feet high, they thought 4 feet high was safer, so we made it a little longer.
Right.
So
So
it's
now we should
4
make
feet
sure,
high, 4 inches in diameter with a stick, and 30 feet long. That's it, once a month, end of story.
we should make sure though that it's changed in the town code.
Yes, yes, we
Yeah,
actually, we
so
have to
change.
do that. Oh, Ann just stepped away.
Well,
We have to tell them how to,
Yeah.
we have to have it match up with the town code now, because the
They
town
have to
code's
prepare
still a
local
5.
law.
Yeah, there we go.
But Diane, to Steve's point, wouldn't it be helpful to tell people not to put this out 3 weeks ahead of schedule?
Well, it says in here, it cannot be put out until 1 week before. Brush must be curbside by the Monday of your
No,
pickup
It
week.
has to be there by Monday.
Monday, it doesn't say,
Can't be there the Tuesday.
Oh, that's a very good word suggestion, we could correct that.
because I think that's what everyone's complaining about, is this
And,
stuff
you know,
just-
we actually talked about that, not sooner than.
But just think about the,
I know the practicality, it's hard when you have a storm or something.
Yeah.
not only that, but if you hire a landscaper or a contractor, and you usually won't hire them around when your brush pickup is, if you hire them and they're gonna drag everything to the curb for you, if it's not, you know, if it's in the guidelines, it just might be an inconvenience for people to have to hire them the week before their pickup, that's all.
That's why there was no
landscaper, they should have a
no
landscaper.
time of when you can put it out.
Well, if it's major stuff, if
Yeah.
it's just your normal,
Approach.
you know, you're doing your spring cleanup or your fall cleanup and they're dragging some branches out, or you're doing it as a resident, you do it when it's convenient to you, you don't build it around.
But I do like not earlier than 1 week, otherwise every street's gonna have, you know, some brush out there and it's not sightly.
Never been a
No,
problem. This is
But your typical
special
spring
situation.
cleanup, you get it done in a month.
Yeah, this is because stuff is out.
I
for
usually
so
do it
long.
with one chipper, and we can do it in a week or less. And if it's heavy, I put 2 chippers in the zone, it's still done.
So
Just
you
that
actually
after
gotta
the bad
be-
storm, so much stuff came down and.
Yeah, it's,
So what do you do with all the chips? Where they go? Little pattern? Are they getting, is that guy still taking them out to
Would
make
it-
food? Yep.
Would any of the homeowners like the chips to be left at the curbside? Can we
Um,
ask
they
them
do
that when we go?
we do get calls and we will deliver them.
Can we encourage it and ask them?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because that would be great. It's nice when they put it in their bed.
We usually get about a list of 10 people.
Maybe that's one of the lines I could see, if you would like for the chips to be left at your house, please let the driver know.
Well, no, I
How
don't,
do we
see,
do
the
that?
thing is, when we deliver a truckload.
Yeah.
So when the truck gets full,
Mhm.
they'll call in and we'll tell them to bring it to a resident.
I see.
To chip what's there and then dump it is,
That's a lot of work.
No, that's not
too
bad.
much, yeah.
Okay, so would, in the future, I mean, I'm sure I'll come to you like 3 times during the year to fix this up, but should we put something, if you'd like to have chips delivered to your house, please call for it, make arrangements?
Yeah.
So if we put that in here, you know, we'll get rid of some chips, and it's nice for the residents. Was there any other adjustments you saw in this that you wanted to bring up to the town board that you
No.
thought? Okay. Now, do you also feel that with us giving this out with the recycling schedule once a year is enough? Do you need another reminder during the year? It's not an
No, I
expensive
think-
item, but.
That's enough. Once a
Okay.
year, the website, that should
Okay.
be.
Announcements of the town board.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is,
Again, this is not.
about a homeowner's never, you
Yes.
have to know the
Yes.
rules, I mean, you have to know when you go,
Oh.
how you say it.
Once we made our size restrictions
Right.
from the beginning,
Mhm.
it's really never been a problem.
Right. And it's not to say people can't prune there, but they just could only put so much out per month. You have to sort of plan to this
Yeah,
area
you
this
sort of
month,
manage
this
it.
area that month.
4 by 4 by 30 is a good size.
It's a good
That's a
size.
good size.
Many other
There's
towns don't
other
give that at all.
Exactly.
Zero.
Other towns do nothing.
I spoke to quite a few landscapers, they said your town is very generous, because no other town picks up at all. I mean,
Actually,
some other
Save
towns.
a Tree told me the same thing.
Yeah.
They hired him, the other towns, you know, we do the most of anybody, so.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Now, the one last thing I wanted to ask you is, in this we said, if you want to pick up, they have to call first. Does that, instead of just going the route, is that cumbersome for you, or is it cumbersome for the residents that if they're going to have something out in front of their house,
I
they
want
have to
them
call?
We do travel every road,
Mm-hmm.
but I do want them to call.
Okay. Mhm.
Because if I can get ahead of schedule, like if it's busy,
Oh, I see.
if they're done, just say Thursday and Friday,
Right.
in zone 3, I can put them into zone 4.
To start there with the call.
If I get no calls, then I don't have to go back.
Would you like for us to put in here about when they should call by, or
No, they can
just
call
to call?
anytime,
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
But we do travel every road, we've been criticized for that, but, oh, the chipper went up the hill and down the hill, and they didn't do anything. Then there's no brush.
Right.
We travel the roads.
Which is good.
But I like the people that get in the habit of calling, because again, if I'm caught up, and I can go into another zone, instead of
Right.
starting Monday, starting on Thursday
Sure.
and Friday,
Yeah.
and I get no phone calls, then I'm ahead of the game a little bit, and then I can continue forward.
Which is so true. Is there a date that we could say that this box no longer applies, that at this time the highway is not adhering to the schedule?
I wouldn't, anything could happen.
Right, could you let us know?
But he knows, like, we're small enough,
Yeah.
but he knows every street he hit. So when he
Right.
goes back to a street that's got storm or whatever,
I mean,
you're back to the normal schedule. We're small enough where that's contained.
Well,
He knows
yeah.
what's gonna put out.
No, I'm just trying to say, when can we say, okay, guys, we're adhering to the schedule now? That's, so when you feel you're at that
I'm
point.
gonna say April, but I don't want to give
Somewhere
you
around
a
there,
date.
you let us
because
know.
Anything can happen.
Let us know as it gets closer, because we want to prepare them, some possibly.
Once I'm done, I'll say we're done, and now we're back on schedule.
Right, but if we start saying possibly April, it's.
I will.
But I think.
But I never give a date.
Right,
I know.
right. You just let us know.
The public have told us.
I think when he's finished, we'll know, and perhaps the supervisor.
Anything could happen, so I
mean, we're
don't
done.
make
Possible
promises.
spring, how about
I
that?
don't,
No, but Jenny, based on the
I'm saying
the
April.
schedule you've been on the first 12 weeks, and the number of roads, and how many you're averaging a week, there's a specific calculations, but it's like 8.8 weeks left, so that
As long
gets
as
you
you don't
to
get 6
April.
more weeks of winter, we're okay.
More?
Would there ever be a commercial place that would want chips for around there? Do we do that for them? We want to get rid of the chips.
Will they
you know?
take?
Well, I have
You do?
someone now, I
Oh.
work the deal
Oh,
out
good,
where it doesn't cost us anything
Yeah.
at the present time.
right.
So they're taking them when they can, they come in. Right now, he hasn't taken them because he's been ill, but they usually take 2 trailer loads a
Oh,
day.
I like that.
So
Okay, good.
it's
And they
not
do that for
costing
Middle
us
Town?
anything, yeah.
Mhm. Okay, that's good.
Yes, but where are we on the snow removal budget? How far ahead are we?
We're way ahead. Not much overtime.
Jinx it.
I'm gonna lose the bet. I think it's been a tough winter.
I did too, I said a tough winter.
I didn't purchase any material yet because I had 2 full loads. The price of salt went down.
Of course. This winter.
But I will have to purchase a minimum amount towards the end of the season, because you have to purchase your minimum. But I'm gonna try to hold off as best I can and just fill up at the end of the season. So I start out with 2 full domes again.
Tell us about the road project.
It's going along okay. We are over, because roads were added and,
Yeah, let's go back up and take so everybody knows the numbers. I believe the bond we issued was 2.1 million,
yes.
and that
The,
included,
the original project was for 1.79. And you add 15% onto that for the construction contingency, and that brought you up to a little over 2. So they bonded 2.1. Now the roads were added.
now trucks came out of that also though? Wasn't there some-
No,
No
the
vehicles?
trucks
That was-
came out, you bonded, I think 2.6.
Okay, so the 2.5,
2.5.
so that,
And
the
then the
2.1 was
trucks.
for the roads?
Correct.
Okay, good. that was originally for how many roads?
That was originally for 8 roads.
And the roads are?
Byron Lake Road, East Middle Patton, Evergreen Road, North Lake Road, Roundhouse Court, Washington Place East, Overlook Road, and Lafayette Avenue.
And what they're doing to those roads, just for an explanation?
Total reconstruction. Now, there's 2 other roads that were added.
Well, let's get to them second, just talk about these now.
Okay. The roads that, Byron Lake Road was drainage, and we were going to do a surface treatment, along with East Middle Patton. But because it was late in the year, we couldn't do the surface treatment. Because any patchwork that was done has to cure for 30 days. So by the time we got everything done and ready to go, plus the 30 days, it was too cold to do the surface treatment.
What does surface treatment mean?
They would oil and stone. They would oil and stone the road. So for us to get through the winter, we decided to true and level it and hold off on surface treatment, because surface treatment wouldn't last because of the temperatures.
Because that was the first road that was done, and they blacktopped it, is that?
That's true. They didn't blacktop. That's only true and leveling course.
Okay.
And it cost us, Byron Lake Road, it cost an additional $46,500 to do the surface treatment, to true and level, which was not included in the original price. But we had to go that way because of the way the project started, late. By the time they got done, if we didn't put something down and put on that road, it wouldn't last. We'd go through the winter, and everything would be back to the way it was. So we decided to true and level the certain roads, and then our plan was to go back and do a surface treatment on top of that. So your additional cost for Byron Lake and East Middle Patton, East Middle Patton's $162,000, and Byron Lake Road is $46,500. That's the additional cost on those 2 roads. Then you had roads that were added. Pond Lane, part of Pond Lane was added, drainage, and an overlay. Miami River Road was added, drainage, true and leveling, because of the same situation. That was $94,000 extra for the true and leveling.
This is for Middle Path, the Nianas, 94 extra?
Right. That was just for the true and leveling. The total projected cost for Miami River Road was $320,000. So that's all extra.
And how much of that has been spent so far?
$226,000.
Is the overlay different than the oil and chip? Is the overlay asphalt?
Yes.
When was the decision made to add these roads?
I'm going to say probably around September. I mean, they're needed. They
Oh,
are
I'm not, no doubt, there's lots of roads that needed, but I'm just curious, how was, I'm sure there was some discussion about how to pay for them.
They said, we'll come up with the money.
Who was that?
Town board, I mean, we went to the supervisor and he said, okay, if it's needed, we'll find the money.
So the total budget, 2.1, the bond,
Yes.
what's the excess above that?
Well, the total projected cost for everything now is 2.875. The bond was 2.1. I'm gonna give up the CHIPS money, which is 179.8, which leaves us 595 and change. And you can, I don't want to, but you can take away the surface treatment on the 3 roads that had true and leveling, and that we were gonna do the surface treatment on, and that would bring you down to 370. And you'd be over. So either you bond more money, or find money, or you'll have to eliminate some roads.
Well, at this point, what roads haven't been done?
Overlook Road North, Washington Place East, and Lafayette Avenue. So if you take out Washington Place East and Lafayette Avenue, then you'll be back in the green for 49,000.
Do we have any extra money from not having so much snow now that the savings for us, can that be applied towards this?
Only after,
It's not a lot.
we get to the spring and summer, I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, but don't forget, you still have November and December.
Oh, the next year.
And anything could happen.
Yeah,
And then using some of that to pay for chipping.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not going to 10, we got.
They've taken some money out of the overtime to pay for the outsourcing and chipping,
right.
so,
Jamie, Overlook is where we had the drainage problem over there in North Fairfield?
yes.
I think you have to do overlook.
That has
Very bad.
That has to be done, that's, now, really all of them have to be done. And when they anticipated Lafayette Avenue, the original cost was $150. That includes guide rail. Then when we walked the road and started really looking into it, all the drainage has to be done. Every basin is falling apart. All the pipes are all rotted. So it doesn't make sense to do the road and leave the drainage. And years ago,
Right, 'cause I
we
noticed
would
you-
do that because we didn't have money. We still don't have money.
Right.
If you don't fix the drainage, you're gonna ruin your road
You're back,
and no
right.
time. Right.
And there was, I mean, but all the projected costs from the beginning were right on money. It was the extras that were approved that put us over. But it was needed. I mean, we drove out in the rain and we found additional drainage on East Middle Patent. So that's what your 15% is for. And that's where we stand.
Do you have that in writing for us? Can we have copies of those numbers?
I'll make copies, yeah.
Okay. I think we the board should have them. We can have one.
Email them, get them to Ann, and she'll email them.
And I think that we as a board have to think about, first of all, we have next year $700,000, or do we need to talk about cutting back on a couple of roads? But we need to do that pretty soon, right, Jamie?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've ordered the material already for Overlook.
Overlook, we have no question about it.
So you have and the decision has to be made real soon, because once they're done with the drainage on Overlook, they're gonna shoot right over to Washington Place.
So they're not doing any more blacktopping now, though, because this time of year you don't do that, right?
Yeah, no, they'll wait till this, they'll do, the trench work, but no true and leveling or no overlays or anything, we'll wait till the spring.
Okay.
Jamie, how long can the true and leveling last?
I'm gonna say you'll probably get about 4 years out of it. You should surface treat it. You should go over it again to really seal it and because you're only shimming the road. So basically in the middle, you're down to nothing as far as material. Some of those roads from years ago, they were strictly surface treated. They were only oil and stone, layers and layers of oil and stone, which almost all the windows like that.
Right.
So You should surface, you should go over it. And it was a good idea to true and level it anyhow, because the conditions of the roads over the years of just oil and stone over and over and over.
Also, doesn't that give you a crown so the water runs off correctly?
The true and level does, yeah.
So it's very beneficial.
And now if you seal that with oil and stone,
Did those roads get curbed already?
no curbing has been done.
Not, so even on those roads, they have to go back and
But that's all in the price. And that's another thing the board is going to have to make a decision on, is curbing. 'Cause I know we've held the job up in Windmill on curbing, so we have to make a decision on where we're going with that. If we're going to continue with the mountable concrete curbing, or there was talk about Belgian block. Belgian block is more money, so at the price that we receive from the contractor, it's another $150,000 if we go that way. And that's only for
North Lake. And,
But I thought they were gonna do something with it.
yeah, the homeowners are disputing that price.
if they pay the difference, then that's fine. I mean, we've got 1931 a linear foot. If they decide to go with that and pay the difference of that's fine. But I can't do a section of town one way and then go to another section of town and do it another way. Because I really don't want to hear it.
I think
It's not fair. It's not fair.
What we're thinking about doing is everybody would pay the difference
Right.
according to how much frontage they have.
So there's something to look at.
It's almost like the one that.
But that has to be done soon too, because once they're done with drainage and the weather's good, they can start the curb.
Okay.
The other thing we could look at, Howard, with respect to the expenditures we had, and the Budget and Finance Task Force, I give them a lot of credit on this, to work in $2 to $3 million a year in capital improvement. So we built that in. We built it into last year's budget without having the expenditures. We built it into this one, knowing we probably earmark it for roads. For 2013 budget, we maybe have to scale that back a little, because if we end up doing what's on here, which is up to the 2.7 or 2.8, maybe we pull back from 2013. So in an aggregate, we still spent what we thought we would spend, but maybe there was more spent in 12, and maybe less spent in 13. You follow me? So that way we're keeping reinvesting in the town, but if we went somewhat over, because they even said, the task force had suggested, at least take a look at it, money's so cheap, should we be spending actually more? We didn't budget for that, so we can't do that. And the payments, the expenditures for this bond don't hit, I think, until 13 anyway. Even though we budgeted for it, technically the interest payments don't start, I think, until 13. So, but we did budget for those interest payments anyway, principal and interest payments.
If you do decide to do a supplemental borrowing, there's some lead time involved in that, because you have to have bond counsel prepare you a new bond resolution, you have a new estoppel period, it's a whole process.
So there is some disagreement on whether road maintenance is actually capital improvement. So we need to talk about that too.
Sounds more like that parking lot on Verizon. That's
Well, when you
definite-
rebuild roads, it clearly is provided for under local finance law. Most
Oh
towns,
yeah, that's how you get your chips.
most towns that I'm familiar with borrow money routinely to rebuild roads,
Okay.
not to just patch them.
Yeah, not to
Yeah, the patching is not, but as a rebuilding of a road,
because we're doing it the way they're doing it now, which is the right way with the drainage.
just so,
It's really a 15-year improvement.
right.
Hopefully, yeah.
Just so you know, I mean, this, over the years, we just did overlays on roads. We never did drainage, except the problem there is we never had the money. You know,
Joe, there's a big difference.
we've got the same road supply budget since I started here.
No, we're doing the right thing.
By the time you get done taking your patching and your line striping, and it doesn't leave you much to do major road work. You go around and do your maintenance work and, you know.
I was just wondering, did we ever identify identify our flooding areas? Because it seems like every time there's a storm, you have the same areas that flood and then why, and so that's some sort of long-term plan and short-term of fixing those flooded areas.
Yeah, School Street, that's
Right.
been like that. We're working now, trying to get FEMA help on it. They refused it a couple times, but they said if we maintain the area, regular maintenance, that there could be a chance, maybe in the next flood, that we would get it. So we've been in the streams, cleaning it out and everything, so we're pushing for School Street.
And then also Creamer is really bad.
Yeah,
That's-
that's major work over there.
Yeah, I mean, what are the solutions? We can't just let it go on for another 10 years, 20 years. What is the solution then?
Money,
I know, but
that's all wetlands, this have to be all, I mean, it's
we
just,
can't just let the residents live like that on that street. It's bad.
Where's it at the bottom?
Creamer, the
Right
whole
in
thing is like a
middle,
lake.
Right in the middle, right at the bottom.
Yeah, it's like a loop. So, I mean, this has been going on since forever. So what is the solutions? I mean, how much? And
But if I'm not mistaken, I think there was new pipes put in on Creamer. And I think we increased the size, but it's just the, outside of putting a big culvert in there, it's a big expense.
but we gotta,
And then,
You can't just
you
let
gotta
that
go
stand.
downstream and make sure everything's opened up. These are all DEC wetlands that you gotta get permits for.
Yeah,
and-
go in there.
no, but I think we should start to evaluate the corrective measures that are necessary for Creamer, School Street. I know there's an area down by Bedford Banks all the way down the end. I was
By
driving,
Middle Patton is,
I was
that,
driving through, it was like a lake. I
it's
couldn't
on Middle
remember.
Patton, that shit's all corrected now. We put,
That's good.
another 36-inch pipe there.
Can you identify for us our typical flooding areas so we could start maybe knocking off this list a little?
Remember
And
the
see-
street?
Remember, this is street. But if you, could you let us know
And these
that?
are all
Because
DEC
it's
wetlands.
the
that
first
you need.
step we could get towards fixing them. You know, if there's 10 places and we knock off 2, then 2, although it's expensive and arduous, I think we could get through the list. But we gotta have a list, so if you come across those, if you could identify them for us.
And while I have the board here, we put in this year for some new equipment. And I don't know if it was approved or not. I don't see it in the budget.
You got 2 trucks out of the list.
That was last year.
I know, that was a big deal.
Was this something you put in for the 12 budget? Was that part of the approved budget for highway?
Yeah, but I don't see it in the budget. We put in for a utility truck, a loader, and a sweeper.
Was it in the details of the, like the line items?
Oh, I know we talked about the sweeper.
The sweeper we spoke
It was
about.
all there. And we put trucks, and we told you the cost of the truck. We didn't say how many because,
But that would all be bonded, right?
Yeah.
yeah, but there's nothing to show, I don't know can I start the process? I mean, I have a guy that wants to demo the sweeper for the one that we want, and I told him to hold off.
I'm confused. It would have been in the budget, a line item in the budget that we approved it,
Yeah.
it would be there. If we didn't approve it, then it wouldn't be there. So if we approved it and it's in the budget,
I don't see it. So that means no equipment this year?
but you don't see it on a line item in your budget,
Yeah.
you mean? We're gonna check with Dawn.
Yeah,
because
let's
we know
check
we
with Dawn and
approved.
see where we are with that.
Because we have one sweeper now, because the other one's just rotted away. And the other one's on its last legs.
What are the ones in the back? Are those
One is
decommissioned?
gone.
Okay.
One is still usable. I wouldn't travel it too far, but,
Did you check with the patrol?
no, I didn't. I had my secretary go through the budget though, and she said that there's no,
Unless it's in, could it be in a capital improvement line under highway?
I think she looked there too.
Well, check with them, let us know. Let's just ask Dawn, she can just tell us
Yeah.
right away. So we'll check.
Because if I can get this sweeper demoed, and in the process, because it's a waterless sweeper, it's on a truck body instead of a 3-wheeler,
Yeah.
it's a one-man operation, where the other one, we need 2 men, we need a truck, and the sweeper. This is all.
Yeah, no, I remember talking about the sweeper and agreeing with that.
And I'm gonna need it, because, you know, we're gonna keep up with the MS4 and everything, it's,
Did we even do a work session on it, I want to say?
Yeah, we
minute.
went into a lot of detail about the sweeper, because it was a one man, and that was the
Right.
whole benefit of it, you didn't need the other truck.
Right.
Could it just be on a borrowing line?
Well, ask the
I
control.
mean, the capital improvement line
We'll
is the
just-
highway budget.
You just asked me, I said, let's guess it. No. Did you get the truck wash in?
truck washes in, now I just need the time to install it. We're gonna try to do it next week, if the weather stays with us.
When you put it in the spot, is it movable or once it's there, it's
It's
there?
there, it's there.
Where you put it in?
Right next to, between the fuel tank and the salt
Yeah.
rock.
Oh,
Because then
So
when
back in there.
the water gets too salty, I can pump it into the salt brine
Oh,
and
yeah.
then reuse it.
Okay.
Tammy, wasn't this borrowing for the road supposed to include finishing the access
The
road?
driveway, yeah.
So you didn't mention that.
That's not, no, that's not even in here.
So what money is that? Do we know how much?
No, Bellata's gonna come in and do the work, and we'll see how much, he's gonna give me a price on it.
That's another problem.
Does that include the turning lane from 128?
Yeah, has to come in, well, it's not a turning lane, they gotta beef up the shoulder.
Well, when we looked at it from Westwood, it would have to be, you know, an area where the trucks could pull over and make the turn.
That's the shoulder.
And it was about $150,000, was that, if I remember the number?
For the shoulder or the?
For the whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was 125, but
Somewhere.
close
around-
enough.
Oh, for the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
150
it can,
sounded right.
You know, we'll see, which way we're going here. Then I can take some of the CHIPS money. See, you can take, I don't know if we can use the CHIPS money for the driveway, but you can take the CHIPS money for the roadway.
Right.
So,
And again, we could look at, you know, I'm sure we'll be working this year is the same as every year on the budget early. We look at capital improvements for next year, we could figure out, do we have to take, you know, do $2.5 million for 2013 because we are a little over for 2012.
right.
We could work that into the big picture. Okay.
Any questions?
I don't have any further.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks for.
Okay.
Thanks.